Hey everybody! Thanks for tuning in. Summer has been quite a interesting ride. Um, One of the fun things I often get to do is play with the Omaha Symphony during the 4th of July concert series. And it's always kind of quite a blow, and they feature lots of music that challenges me in a lot of ways. So, as I was preparing for it, I started trying to work through some of my old issues that I often find in my own playing. Some of the issues that I have is when I play really loud, some of my tonguing and faster passages just aren't up to par with some of the other people in the trombone section. Or even in the trombone world, right? And so I was trying to just kind of work through that. What I've been doing over the years hasn't necessarily produced the stuff that I wanted. And I really started using my little cutaway a little bit more here. And so this is just like my mouthpiece. And as you can see, my professor actually from years ago just cut away on an actual mouthpiece there. And it just forces your embouchure and your airstream and all sorts of parts of your inner playing to work differently. So when you have a mouthpiece here, there's lots of resistance that just comes in here. So as you're blowing air in, only so much air can get out. And sometimes it's hard to replicate exactly how you're playing on the trombone. So what I can buzz right, I can play all sorts of pitches. I can use my tongue and all that sort of stuff. It works great. In fact, it's a really great couple of first steps that you want to use in your own practicing ways as you try and get better as a trombone player. But you'll find that it's kind of impossible to replicate having a trombone on your face. So there's just different ways that because this is 6 to 8 pounds depending on what instrument your setup is. It's hard to replicate that as you just put this on here. This thing weighs, gosh, I don't know, less than a pound for sure. But anyways, it doesn't really hit the face the same way. So one of the cool features about this cutaway is that it goes straight into the horn, just like your mouthpiece does, because it is a mouthpiece. And then you can put it right up on your face and buzz the exact same things, and then it actually feels like you're playing the trombone. And so I was messing around with that a lot. I was finding a lot more success with that, and I was just really enjoying some of the practice sessions that I had. And then, of course, I bring this thing with me everywhere, but it was just more pronounced than usual. So one of the players in the section saw me using it, and so he's developing his own cutaway mouthpiece, which is interesting. I probably won't show you much more than this because it's a prototype. I don't want to, I know none of you are going to show anything, but I probably shouldn't. But anyways, he has a similar cutaway mouthpiece that he's designed by himself, and it's plastic. So in some respects, it can be a little bit cheaper than buying another one. And he has his own unique designs with this cutaway. So again, I'll try and not give away everything on that. But one of the cool things about this is that between the two of these cutaways, this features a fair amount of resistance just with your own airflow as you're blowing in, right? This features basically zero resistance, right? So in fact, my air can just splay out anywhere. And this cutaway here features kind of a balance. It really feels a little bit more similar to what's happening inside here. And that just gave me a couple more ahas to work with. So he had lent me that cutaway to just test it out and give him some feedback. So I've been messing around with it for a month. I finally just got back to him how much I like it. And I really like the balance between the three of these. It's kind of annoying to go from mouthpiece to cutaway to mouthpiece and just mess around with it a lot. But what's not annoying is how great my practice sessions have become, and I'm identifying some of my issues with my playing so much quicker, and it's really great to see. I'll share a couple of pictures here with you. So I have all sorts of things written on my paper, and so as I've been trying to just figure out like how to work on some of these issues. So this first example here comes from one of the harder things that I've ever worked on. It's just a solo, specifically supposed to be for a trombone and orchestra by Paul Creston. It's been around for a while, but it's got these quick, fast passages like I played for you at the beginning of this video. And so with these quick passages, a lot of times I just get tongue-tied, basically. And so it's been really difficult for me to work on these things. And through this process, I've been able to see when I'm using too much pressure. That's what the green arrows are for, the green highlights are for. The other more obvious one will be the purple highlight. That one features when I'm not happy or I need to focus on my airstream. Just make sure that it actually continues through. I won't get into it too much, but it's really easy to stale your air and just kind of ride along, coast without actually producing your air the correct way to help the tongue function. If I'm not blowing enough, the tongue really can't do its job. There's not enough air to help push it back down, and your tongue stops like going up and down. And if I'm blowing too hard, then my tongue either has to overcorrect and hit really, really strongly, or again, it will also fail because it's getting too tight and the air is just blowing it down. So that's what the purple one's for. And again, the green one is all about the pressure on the face, just making sure that I'm not hammering this thing into my embouchure too much as passages get difficult. Sometimes we just overcompensate in silly ways. The orange and the yellow highlights are a really interesting feature that's going on with me right now. We really just use the word buzz, and I've been kind of switching to phonation. And phonation is actually the word they use to describe for your vocal cords. Those muscles are phonating, and I just like that word more currently in my own teaching and philosophy because my lips are vibrating. They don't happen to be necessarily muscles, but I feel like they're really, really similar. And also the way that the muscles work as you sing higher or lower or talk louder or anything. Again, these muscles actually, the phonation kind of goes up and down. And I've found that inside my mouthpiece here, sometimes my phonation, the buzzing, might occur a little bit more on one side or the other, or more top side or more bottom side, or just making sure that it is happening. And so the yellow is just when I'm saying like, hey, phonate from this pitch up or down. And then the orange one was what I'm actually graduating to for the most part, is the phonation plus my aperture. And the aperture, if you think about whistling, there's this tiny little hole that air comes through, and that's just what you call an aperture. And so when you buzz, you also happen to have an aperture because the air comes out in a concentrated place. It doesn't actually just flap out from side to side. It's concentrated, and then there's also that. So a lot of times I find, especially in my tonguing or the really, really loud playing or the opposite, just all the time, I find that my aperture isn't ideally set in the right way. So the orange one is this combination of making sure that I'm phonating while also making sure that my aperture is actually functioning as well. There's this funny little red circle with the lines, and then usually also seen with a little like red squiggly line. That's my I forget what they actually call them, a wheel in the water, a water. I'm just gonna call it a water wheel for now, sawmill or something like that. But as the water moves, my airstream, I want my tongue to just be riding off of that. I absolutely overcompensate with my tonguing, and so that's just trying to make sure that it stays light, and it is not a process of my playing at all. It's just there to clean things up. So it's just one of my weird issues that I have with my own playing over the years. But one of the cool things is as I tell you all the time, one reason why I just keep doing this is because every year I look back and I'm like, man, I've improved. I keep getting better. I haven't necessarily been able to hang my hat on I do these things or I play with these people, but I mean, I keep getting better and I'm happy about that, and I keep striving, and that's stuff that I love. So I'll just play one more quick passage for you from a different solo. This is from Paul Hindemith, but anyways, this was when I was in a freshman or sophomore in college. This was one of the solos that I was asked to work on to become a better player, and it's just kind of fun to revisit this one. It came with its own struggles. Again, I came in with all of my years of lessons from my previous teachers, and trying to learn from my college professor and everything like that. And it's fun to revisit this one. Hindemith is a very loud, bombastic sonata, and it's plenty challenging in its own respects. And just the way that I have to phonate up and down from pitch to pitch is actually really difficult to do. And I understand how to do it much better than I did when I was in college. So again, that's just always fun to see. So I'll finish today just by playing a little bit of that. The sonata from Paul Hindemith.